The trick, Mr. Potter, is not minding that it hurts. Lawrence of Arabia, released in 1962 and is directed by David Lean, who's also behind such films like Dr. Zhivago, A Passage to India, Summertime, and The Bridge Over River Kwai. And this film is starring Peter O'Toole, who is making his feature-length debut in this film, so fuck him, Anthony Quinn, Jack Hawkins, Jose Ferrer, Anthony Quayle, Claude Rains, Arthur Kennedy, Omar Sharif, and Sir Alec Guinness. And the reason why we're talking about Lawrence of Arabia today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from a longtime contributor and supporter of this channel, Dr. Camp. Once again, you send over a recommendation of an epic film, a movie that a lot of people call their favorite film of all time. One of those films that could be considered a cornerstone in the history of cinema. And after watching it for this review, I would say it's one of my favorite, like, classic epic films. This thing clipped along and it kept my interest the entire time, not like some other epic, or people call epic, films from the 50s and the 60s that kind of bore me, especially when we get to the second half. But if anyone else out there also wants to be like Dr. Camp and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that's in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. Send over your donation of $5 or more with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out, just like what I did with Dr. Camp here. The movie begins with T.E. Lawrence, who is killed in a motorcycle accident. That's right, for those of you that haven't seen this movie, I shit you not, this movie starts with Lawrence's death. Why? I don't know. It was controversial, shocking. I don't know. It was a decision. And after his military funeral, we cut back and flash back to the early days of T.E. Lawrence when he was a basic army lieutenant looking for an adventure and an incredible assignment. And he finally gets one when his superior officer sends him to the desert to assess the prospect of Prince Faisal, who is played by Sir Alec Guinness, in his revolt against the Turks. And along his journey, he impresses the entire Fasil army to where he is seen as an epic war hero amongst the clan. And as his popularity grows, superior officers try to hatch a scheme to use him to get what they want, but then also to cut out his legs when they are done with him. And it's a 3-hour and 20-minute epic journey of this man crossing the desert and playing in the sand. That's who this character is. This Lawrence loves the desert. He loves the sand. It is an ocean to him. It is freedom to him. So when he finally gets assigned to it, you can see the smile on his face and he is liberated. This is everything that he's ever wanted. This is what he's always dreamed of. But this movie is a lesson in, like, don't always meet your heroes and don't always go and achieve all of your dreams right away, because you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. He obtains all this popularity. He wins all these battles. He gets the approval of all of his soldiers who follow him blindly, and then it eventually leads to a moment where the soldiers depart because they've gotten all that they've desired, and then his generals, his superior officers, discharge him because they've used up all of his usefulness. So that joy and that love of the desert that he has slowly dissolves and fades to a cancer, to a poison, something that he despises. Because he used to love it, now it's just something that is corrupt and evil, and he wants to get away, but then as he gets away and as he's driving away, he misses it and looks back longing at the desert and wanting to go back into it. It's a beautiful story and it's a tragic story. Just seeing someone who has a love for something, to see that love get stomped out of him. That's heartbreaking to see for anyone, not just in film. I've seen it in real life with friends and family, that they've loved something or they were doing something that they were enjoying, but because of their bosses or because of their work or because of the given circumstances, the enjoyment that they had out of it was just stomped out of them. It's heartbreaking to see, which is probably why I connected with this 1960s epic piece more so than other epic pieces like Ben-Hur is the first one that comes to mind. I really connect with this guy Lawrence. He just wants to be free, and he wants to go on an adventure, and when he gets that adventure, he kind of flies too close to the sun, and the enjoyment that he gets from that adventure is just, again, stomped out of him. Peter O'Toole making his feature-length debut acting in this movie. Like, fuck you, sir. You are too goddamn good to start off with this. This is your first feature-length debut. Like, where do you go from here? I know he's done countless other things, but to start in a movie like this, seriously, sir, like, you Orson Welles, fuck you. But he's great. He drives this film. He was an attractive young man back in his early days with his blonde hair and his beautiful, piercing blue eyes, and how he portrays Lawrence as this eccentric dude. Like, he's in the army, he's in the British Army, he's wearing the getup, but you can tell that his mannerisms, his posture, the way he goes about and walks about the commissary, you can tell he's just not of everyone who is there. His performance does get a little melodramatic in some places where he is pausing for dramatic effect. No, that lemonade is for him. Give it to him. But it's an epic movie from the 60s, so what else can you expect? I guess you can also expect whitewashing and brownface in this movie. A lot. Back when whitewashing and brownface and blackface was an okay practice. Sir Alec Guinness plays an Arab prince in this film. He is in brownface. Sir Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, is in brownface. I was not expecting that. I have seen this movie once before, and I remember Alec Guinness being in it, but I thought he was one of the generals. Like, I thought he was the guy who was ordering Lawrence around and telling him to go out into the desert and find a guide and find a camel and go. But no, he is the Arab prince. I mean, it's funny in retrospect now. Like, we can laugh at it now, but back then, like, no, that's totally fine. Alec Guinness? Yes, he is a white man, and he's playing a Middle Eastern prince. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Sir Alec Guinness, of course. Would that happen today? Oh my god, no. I know as a director you want to cast the best actors in the role, but there also comes a point where you need to respect and appreciate the culture that these characters are coming from, and you need to represent them accurately and accordingly. So in 1962, yeah, brownface, that totally flew back then. Today, my god, this would not be happening. The cinematography and how they use the desert landscapes, Freddie A. Young, the cinematographer of this film, is brilliant. It is epic. It makes it look so beautiful how they use the sand, how they use the desert to paint pictures, and they use it as a character in the movie. Also, the score of Maurice Jarre in this film is amazing. I loved this score. That's one of the things that kept me interested. Again, it's a 3-hour, 20-minute movie. You have to keep my interest going along. The theme that Maurice wrote, it's epic. It's what you would expect from an epic film like this. Lawrence of Arabia, epic film from the 1960s, a cornerstone in the history of movies, and a lot of people would consider it one of their favorite movies of all time. I wouldn't go that far because I've only seen it twice, but it is probably one of my favorite classic epic films that were released in the period from like the 1940s to the 1970s. It is an epic picture, and it keeps your interest, it keeps your attention, and it's a heartbreaking story. It's a story, it's a character that I can connect with, which is difficult to do with those classic epic pieces, but I totally relate, but I completely connected with this character, and it's a beautiful, tragic story. I'm gonna give Lawrence of Arabia 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good.
Good. So guys, if you've seen Lawrence of Arabia, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you all the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.